I just finished watching season 3 of House of the Dragon along with season 1 and 2 2 weeks ago. I want to make it clear before I make my review, I have not watched Game of Thrones. I will start watching that show now that I've watched House of the Dragon. I think House of the Dragon was very entertaining. Season 1 I thought was awesome. Season 2 I thought was pretty mid. But yeah, so forgive me if I make some goofy claims or hot takes if for something that I thought was pretty lackluster for this season. It's because I just don't have the prerequisite knowledge of Game of Thrones, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are saying you need to watch that before understanding like the complexities of House of the Dragon. But my point is, I just didn't watch Game of Thrones. I will start watching that now. But my thoughts on House of the Dragon season 3 was just the same thoughts I had for season 2. Very mid. It's slightly better than season 2, but I don't think this was like a big improvement that I was hoping for, and I think a lot of people were hoping for, because what I think season 2, or a lot of people have said, but why am I saying people's opinions? I should say my opinion. My opinion of season 2 was that it was just set up for season 3. Like, the last few episodes were what really promises you that, oh, season 3 is going to be all out war. Which, I don't expect season 3 to have a battle every episode. That's not what I'm saying. But you have the setup for the past 2 seasons, for the past 4 years. And we only get, I think only 2 battles. The one battle at the very beginning and a battle at the end. Everything in the middle, it felt very stale, and it felt like we were going through the same things that I didn't like in season 2. I'm gonna go and get into spoilers, so here's your spoiler warning. I'm also really tired, by the way. I have no enthusiasm in making this review, but here I am. So you guys remember in season 2 where Daemon was just in his headspace at the Harrenhal, where he's just kind of like and like sleepwalking and all that? Well, he switches places with Aemond, and I thought Aemond was great in season 2, but in this season, I swear, they actually swapped their roles. Daemon was a better and doing a lot of stuff in season 3 that progresses the overall plot. Aemond is just benched. He is just sleeping and just like frightens up when he's getting a nightmare and whatever. It is the same thing. In fact, I think the whole Harrenhal thing with Aemond in this season was more boring than Daemon in season 2. Every time I get a scene of him, it was just like, oh. And not only that, he arrives to Harrenhal with Vhagar, right? And when Aemond gets like knocked out because, he got stabbed, and he like got knocked out and then was taken in by Alice. We never see Vhagar ever again. We don't see her throughout the rest of the season. She never comes back. I thought they were gonna do a stupid thing where she comes last minute and saves Aemond. Nope, you don't get her back at all. Aemond is very boring and does nothing for the overall plot in this season. But that is just indicative of my main complaint here, where a lot of the characters that we get to see, like we just see like what they're doing, it leads to nothing. It either leads to their death or it just goes nowhere. I think the perfect example of going to nowhere and leading to death was Cole's death. So when after him and Gwaine go to Harrenhal to find that Aemond is not there, even though Alice was just lying to them, they are on this like wild goose chase of finding Aemond out. They're just, going through the freaking Riverlands and whatever. And whenever like a path that they try and cross, and it's like, blocked for them, they're just like, well, let's go somewhere else. And Gwaine is telling Cole, hey, let's stop doing this. We should just go back to Ormond. Ormond Hightower is the cousin of Alicent, by the way. He's like the new big bad of this season. And it's just like, it goes nowhere. Cole is still adamant, which, I get considering like what he values now. He is still gung-ho about continuing his journey and, following his mission. And if he has to die by it, then so be it. He doesn't want to abandon his post or whatever. But it's just like at the end they do get they get ambushed by Sir Roderick and like the other like northern people, and he just gets killed by one of the randoms, and that's it. And it's like, oh, what a quite a waste of a death for a key character like him. I would have loved to see his fate be more like satisfying, but it just felt very cheap to me. But let's just kind of go through what happens in this season. So after Alicent told Rhaenyra, with a few complications here and there, that they will just surrender the Red Keep, she does gain the throne, Rhaenyra. And as queen, and this is like one of the good things about the season, is that Rhaenyra is feeling the weight of the crown and how her being queen was not going to be easy. In fact, it was more difficult for her being queen than to gain the throne from Aemond herself. And as queen, she is trying to fulfill the common folks like wishes, like through the petitions that they have, and you know all the mess that Aegon and his people, his like you know loyal supporters have left behind. She is trying her best to satisfy all the people there, trying to be the merciful queen that she strived to be. She didn't want to be someone of, you know, of a ruthless person or whatever, but no matter how hard she tries, and there are some moments where she does succeed to win the people's favor, she is still in this state where people are still doubting her, and people are, and Ormond, he plays a role in making her look weak, and it crushes her. And along with the death of Jacaerys, right from the get-go, from the first episode, that crushes her even more, and she kind of slowly descends into this madness where she does become what she feared to be. And I think how they get there, like all the way through at the end, it was, you know, good. I liked what they did with Rhaenyra's character. And I would have just loved to see more of that. Like, I understand, like, they were being very, like, I think the pacing of this was really bad. And what I felt like when they try to build up certain characters here, like, I wish they could have given that same treatment with, like, Cole. And I wish they would have done more with Aemond, but no, those two are just doing the same thing episode by episode until it just leads to nothing. Like, I just did not like the season much at all. But with Daemon, however, I liked what he did throughout the season. Like, he has fully pledged his loyalty to Rhaenyra. This guy isn't like, you know, juggling of whether he should betray her or not. No, he is still loyal. He does encounter one of the big problems here where his daughter, Rhaena, she was able to claim a wild dragon. Well, not really, technically, kinda. So, this is like one of the big things that happened at the very beginning, where she tries to help the Velaryons to fight the Triarchy along with Tywin Lannister at the sea. And while she's doing that, there's also Jacaerys and Baela. They are trying to help but also that defied, you know, Rhaenyra's orders, where they weren't supposed to interfere at all. But Jacaerys, he's just been so desperate to wanting some action be done, and he thinks that he was protecting his mother, so he locked her in there, and he went to go out and, you know, help. But his dragon gets attacked along with Baela's dragon. They both get attacked by Sheepstealer, the wild dragon that Rhaena, you know, claimed, and that leads to Jacaerys' death. And here's another thing. That was also another thing, too. Rhaena is just also sidelined, too. She is just out in the wild with Sheepstealer all by herself. She's basically exiled herself, outcasted, and does absolutely nothing. Even went to the point when Rhaenyra did figure out, or she did later discover, that it was her. And Sheepstealer, well, he just runs away after getting attacked by Caraxes and, Syrax. It's just like I get it. Like, I understand. Yeah, they couldn't really do much with Rhaena, but man, like, those three characters, Rhaena, Aemond, and Cole, nothing happens. Nothing. Like every time I see them, it's just like, oh, it's the same thing over and over again. Like, that's what I mean by how I felt like this overall season was just very stiff. But anyways, with Daemon, he finds out that Rhaena was responsible for the sheep stealer, the wild dragon, and that led to Jacaerys' death. And he is trying to protect her and do all that things, but he's also been he's contributed a lot for Rhaenyra. He has fought in the battle of Tumbleton against Ormond Hightower, and through many losses and through many tragedies, he does prevail. And I think everything that he has done throughout the whole season, I thought was really fun to watch. I really enjoyed his journey. That's probably the one of the good things I can point out for this season. Everything else was just kind of oh, okay, let's move on. That's just kind of how I felt. And I guess another complaint that I have about the season, and maybe it's because my TV just sucks, but this is the problem that I've had throughout all 3 seasons. The times when it's just super dark, I just can't see anything on the TV. I really do think they still have a darkness issue. Maybe it's better than season 1 episode 7, or was it? Yeah, season 1 episode 7, where it was just blacked out, nothing. You see silver hair there, but that was just all you could see. With some of the scenes here that are shown in this season, it was just so dark for me to see. I just didn't like it. Oh, and there are some other good things that I do want to point out. I think Helaena was an interesting character. We learn in this season that she can envision things in the future. She sees what is to come, and I think what they did with that, I thought was really interesting. I also like that through Helaena, they show how ruthless Rhaenyra has become by the end. Because Helaena, she is pregnant with her child, and it might be a boy. And if it's a boy, he could be a challenger to Rhaenyra for the throne. So, along with Alicent, other people are thinking, Rhaenyra might kill the baby when she births him. And she doesn't. In fact, I don't even know what happened. I think, I don't know. She gave birth, and the baby is somewhere else, I think. Or I don't. Maybe that was a dream. I forgot. But at the end, Helaena dies. But but right before she dies, she finishes knitting the prophecy blanket thing where she sees Rhaenyra in the Iron Throne, but it's all flames surrounding her, which foretells that I think maybe season 4 will show it, but it'll be an all-out destruction. War is going kablam, kaboom on everything. That is the doom and destruction that we will witness, and that is what she prophesies. And and another thing I didn't like was it just kind of felt like whenever we see Alicent and Rhaenyra bickering with each other about what the right thing is to do, or they're just pointing fingers at each other, you're being a hypocrite, and you're being you doing this is just whatever, yada yada. That was also boring. I just feel like we're seeing the same things we saw in season 2, but in a different coat of paint or whatnot. You have Aemon and Daemon literally swapping roles in this season. It just kind of felt like an extension of it, really. And by the end, there is just so many switch ups all of a sudden. So I could see where he gets to the point that he does betray Rhaenyra. But that doesn't also go anywhere too, because at the end, when his dragon was needed to assist Ormond Hightower against the North and Daemon and his army, he just goes drunk and he does nothing at all. He then gets discovered, and he does kill a lot of a lot of Daemon's army, but he also just kills Ormond as well, because Ormond was being a dick to him and whatnot. So it was just all these switch ups leading to a lackluster conclusion for what they were doing. And another switch up that happens is Alicent, she poisons her son Aemond. And she doesn't think, I guess I can understand why she doesn't kill him. I just don't know what she was trying to gain from that. A lot of the characters here make weird decisions, and it's just, why? And again, I didn't watch Game of Thrones. Maybe some of the decisions are made because that is how they have to do it. Like that is according to the rules or whatever. Like maybe that's why, but I don't know. It's just a lot of the things in the season here was just messy, and I just didn't really enjoy much of it really. But I maybe because I don't know Game of Thrones like that, maybe I just don't understand certain things of how they come to play. But man, this was not a fun season at all, in my opinion. I think that's all there is to say. I just hope season 4 will be better. Like I don't expect to just be only action. Like there should be some fleshing out of certain characters that they haven't really done yet. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like Bela, I don't know what her thing is anymore. Along with like Corlys, Alan, Adam, like all these characters that they've like introduced and like and some of them that we've had from the beginning, you just don't really know what their motives are anymore because of like they switch up. Like Alan, he just for his whole life he has been adamant on not getting any royal duties or whatever. But then by the end, when Corlys claims him as his son, he is then just straight up just like that. He fulfills the duties for the queen immediately, even though he doesn't get legitimized. Yeah, that's all there is to say. I can't really say anything more. I was just bored throughout the whole season. It felt like watching season 3 was a chore. That's all. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.